You know, Max, all this daycare talk, quite frankly, it offends me. I'm not really a daycare kind of guy. I'm more like a cheerleader. You know, I've got a bit of a fever, Max, and the only cure for my fever is more pom-poms. When the 63-year-old icon Sting throws pom-poms in your face, god damn it, you're going to listen. Hell, if a random 63-year-old man on the street throws pom-poms in your face, you're going to listen. Then you're going to run the opposite direction and hopefully call the police and hopefully prevent that man from throwing pom-poms or likely something else ballsy and viscous right in the person's face. Anyway, I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. There were moments on the show. Boy, I really enjoyed some of the moments. Man, there were some great goddamn moments here. Actually, for about the first 35 or 40 minutes, I was really enjoying a lot of this show. But then they just couldn't keep the momentum up. It was a hot crowd, I will say that. Everybody that was in attendance, you did a great goddamn job bringing the energy, bringing the noise, bringing the funk. That being said, let me know your thoughts on this show, because I really want to know if you were in the live crowd, how was it? And did you guys think that this show was a bit uneven after the first 40 minutes? Because I was really enjoying it at the beginning. Darby gets a big pop. We got Swerve and Darby. Referee Aubrey, Defy memories. I remember seeing this match when it was, I believe, Swerve's last Defy match for a while when he went to WWE. It was March of 2019. Met both these guys, so proud of them, as you know, so happy for their success. Like I had anything to do with it. I'm just one fan, but it's just cool to see representation of Washington State on in a big company. So happy for Aubrey, so happy for Darby, so happy for Swerve. 7 career singles matches. I did witness one in 2019. I swear I witnessed another one, but I do remember the one in 2019 because I got to meet Ultimo Dragon on that show. Yes, indie wrestling can be wild. I'm going to say right now, they laid it all out there. They did some good shit. And I don't know why Darby is bound determined to not be walking by the age of 40, but nevertheless, he did a big dive, right in the beginning. Huge pop. That was some good stuff. I don't know why they did the stomp to the floor. Again, Darby wishes to not be walking by the age of 40. At one point, Swerve's boot ends up coming off in some manner or another, and Darby decides to bite the foot. Nang, 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 nang. You sick fuck chance. And then a poison Rana to the floor. I don't know why. I don't know why anybody, even talents like these two would want to do that, but whatever. Here's Prince Na 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 Hey Hey and Brian Cage. The poster child for HGH. They basically are coming down because Mogul affiliates and the embassy are joining forces. Why? Because they need something for them to do, I guess. Maybe they're going to move Swerve over to Ring of Honor. So Swerve hits a stomp, then is selling the bad ankle. Aubrey decides, hey, after she recognizes that Cage did trip Darby, says, no, get out of here. And then Swerve actually tries to get a chair, gets kicked out of his hands. And then a code red, that gets 2 count. And then the last upper trap pin, 1, 2, 3, big pop, good stuff. This was cool. This was a good way to start the show. Starts hot. 2 talents that know each other very well, rising up from the Pacific Northwest Indies and doing some great stuff. Swerve had been in WWE, not utilized all that well, has been in Defy. Recently lost the Defy Championship to Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne, who will be making his debut, I believe, on July 12th. I wish it was in Seattle. I wish we were coming back to Seattle soon. So happy for Nick Wayne. Like, anybody is going to be watching this as a wrestler, but I'm just so happy for his success. So happy, for the fact Washington State got represented here. And then here's MJF to boos, but he also got some cheers because they tried to do his catchphrases. I'm sick of you doing my catchphrase. Shut up. Freaky Deaky Darby mentions Full Gear 2021. Killer match, one of the best matches of 2021. And calls him a Shalo emo fuck and mentions how he beat him with a headlock takeover. Forgetting the fact he used the ring before. But he said he could beat him with a headlock takeover, and he did. And, you aren't on the level of the devil, and there's some good stuff. And then Darby actually fires back. Darby can actually talk. I've talked to Darby a few times. Granted, it's been a few years, but, Darby can talk. He actually can. I mean, like, he's not just a mute. He's not just a guy that says a few words. He does have some emotion. He got some fire here. He said, when you achieve the big time, did all your problems disappear? Well, my first year in AEW, I checked myself into therapy because I realized even if I was happy, I need to make sure the other people in my life were happy. I mean, or vice versa. I need to make sure that everything, there was a good synergy. He mentions how he's used the big money to buy his parents a house, help his dad retire, and do stuff like that. There you go. There you go right there. The therapy part did get a huge pop. That was nice. He got the crowd popping. He says, he says a few more things, and then MJF says morals kill, careers in the sport. He's not wrong, given some of the best careers. But MJF says that he could give a shit about going to heaven. They got to really tone down on the shit. They really do. If Warner Bros. Discovery is telling them to do that, they're still telling them to do that. They really got to tone down. Even though MJF is one of the big stars and could get away with it. And that he will have a legacy that proves that he is the greatest of all time. That Darby Allin is just Sting's bitch. And then here's Sting! And Sting stares down MJF and just decides to joke about the daycare thing, pulls out pom-poms. I got a little bit of Joker in me. It's kind of funny. Mentions the Cody daycare stuff. Oh, I said Cody. Shouldn't say Cody. And, well, you have the Cody support system, and look where that got you. Now he's gone. I don't know, did Cody owe Sting some money or something, or did Sting just stay out of hell with it? I'm bulletproof at this point. And he mentions Flair, and mentions the Wolfpack, and Kevin Nash, and points up to Scott. And that was good stuff. I got a little Joker left in me. I have no desire to have that title because Showtime, it's going to be over for me soon. Because he's at the end of his contract. I would imagine by September, maybe Full Gear. If they extend it to Full Gear, that's fine. But he's done. He's 63 years old. What else does he have to prove? But he says it's just getting to be Showtime for Darby. 35 minutes in and they're cooking. They're cooking. They're doing some good stuff. I was applauding. I was having fun with this show. And then we get to Hobbs beating Silas Young for the TNT Championship. Either that previous segment went long or they said, Silas Young, you've been good. You're getting squashed. You got squashed in a minute. Stop trying to make QT happen was a sign in the crowd. Thank you to whoever did that. Thank you. If you happen to be watching this, seriously, fucking thank you for that. Wardlow. Then, by the way, so earlier, Hobbs had arrived in a custom-made car that apparently he loves, but we've never seen before. Wardlow then shows up around the car and beats the shit out of it with a pipe that was not very well gimmicked because he couldn't really beat up anything. But then there was the velvet rope stuff with the stands, and he threw one through the windshield, beat that up, got a forklift, lifted the thing, and threw that, and forgot to put the forklift in park, so it ran right into the parked vehicle, or the tipped-over vehicle, and then that was it. But Hobbs loves that car. We've never seen that fucking car. Have we seen that car? Genuinely, have we seen that car on Rampage or Dynamite? I don't think so. Anyway, then Hobbs is gonna go powerbomb Silas Young. Who is the Cinemax After Dark dressed woman that is in the QT group, and why? Why is any of this happening? Why is QT on a program? Why isn't he just training? He can do that fine. This QT TV stuff sucks and it's not doing anything for Hobbs. Wardlow then rushes in and stops Silas Young from getting powerbombed through two tables. And then we get a bunch of wrestlers out, all this fracas. And then Solo gets powerbombed through two tables, except he only gets powerbombed through one and hits his head on the other one. I hope he's alright. That looked pretty brutal. Okay, they're going to have the rematch next week. Is Wardlow going to win? Are they going to do a screwy finish again? What is going... Hobbs and Wardlow could have a good series of matches. We don't need this QT TV stuff. But I can forego the fact that this was ridiculous. I'm a little on the fence, about the show being great. But so far, we're getting close to an hour in, and we're doing better. Okay, that's fine. Then a package on Jay White and Juice. It's going to be Bullet Club Gold. Yeah, well, it's fool's gold at this point because Bullet Club is frickin' rotten. I hope that Jay White and Juice can succeed as a team, and this will probably be something to nurse Jay White along, get him over until they put him in, a title picture at some point. Because there's no way that Jay White did not go to AEW without maybe a promise of getting a title run of some variety. Maybe not the world yet, but at some point. And then Buddy Matthews with Julia Hart took on Orange Cassidy for the AEW Air National Championship. Orange Cassidy had his hand attacked, so he was selling the Orange Punch stuff, and oh no, he was hurting, and all that stuff. That might be good psychology if it was an actual wrestler. I hate Orange Cassidy's gimmick. I hate the mere existence of that gimmick on a wrestling program. There are people who like it. You can like it all you want. I hate it. Put Buddy against an actual wrestler, and I will pay more attention. Buddy is a great athlete, obviously loves the fact there's no wellness policy in AEW, and Cassidy kicks out of goddamn everything, including a stomp, and then hits the mousetrap roll up 1, 2, 3. Poor Buddy. He retains the championship. Who is going to beat Orange Cassidy? Who's going to benefit from this? Because the International Championship really is kind of a goddamn joke because it's not a joke wrestler, but whatever. And that video of Christian and Luchasaurus, and he says some things have changed. Is Christian just writing out his contract here? The contract may have been extended due to the fact that he was injured, but I don't know why this is. I don't know why this pairing is still going on. And backstage with Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends, Aussie Open are being challenged for Rampage. Great, so Rampage is going to be against one actual wrestler and a fucking joke. I hate the Best Friends stuff. AEW does some really good stuff, and the Best Friends is not one of them. This gimmick is stale. Speaking of stale, here's Ethan Page, who's not a bad athlete at all, but this firm stuff is terrible. He wants to know why Matt Hardy decided to screw him over. Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy, because Mark Quinn apparently is off at the gulag or trapped in a Turkish prison or something. I don't know where the hell he is. I mean, maybe he's injured, but they've never referenced that. So then they say, oh, by the way, we put in the contract if Hook beats you, then we are no longer under the firm's control, or we're no longer subservient to you, but we have to do another match so we can be totally free of you. I tend to tune out a lot of things that Matt Hardy says, but he got very jumbled here. And then Lee Moriarty and Big Billy Willie decide to attack. And then here comes Hook, dressed like a Boy Scout for some reason. He almost lifts Big Billy Willie again, but then the beatdown. And then Jeff Hardy is back with all the fire and piss and vinegar of somebody that just recently woke up out of a soma coma. Yeah, there's going to be some shots here. Let me just say that right now. He shows up with a painted chair, and he didn't look like he could even move. It's a good thing it's a short ramp. He couldn't even move. It took forever for him to get up. He throws a chair at Lee Moriarty's head, hits a swanton that lands flush on Lee because he can't do that move anymore because it's about 15 years past him being able to do that goddamn move because he's beat his body to shit. And now Jeff Hardy's back in the goddamn company. Okay, I don't fucking care if this... Just right here, this is going to be a little PSA right here. Everybody should get second chances. Everybody should get a chance to cure themselves. And if Jeff Hardy is actually clean, then okay. Good for him. He's got children. He's got a wife. He wants to do something. He wants to do something with the rest of his career. That's fine. Here's the thing. There have been people blacklisted for less, people that have been ostracized for less, people that have been kicked out of companies for less than Jeff Hardy has done. And every time he's had a chance to get clean, he doesn't. Every time he's had another chance to get clean, he doesn't. If he's got that much of an addiction that he can't stay clean and be in wrestling, go do something else. Paint. Tell me people wouldn't buy his art. Seriously. He's beat his body to shit, so naturally he's going to develop a dependency, but he has had numerous chances in WWE, in Impact, in AEW. And his most recent one, DUIs, DWIs, whatever, are no goddamn joke. And Jeff Hardy does not deserve another fucking chance. So I'm not wishing for him to fail. I hope that he's clean. I genuinely hope he's clean. But I'm just going to count down until he's either injured or he screws up again. Because Jeffrey Nero Hardy is a screw-up. Yes, addiction's a goddamn disease, but eventually you just have to say enough's a goddamn enough. And this is fucking ridiculous. CM Punk is a cancer in the locker room, according to Chris Irvine Jericho. And maybe some other people and whatever, but Punk actually drew them money. And he is at home, whatever. Maybe he's still recovering from the injury. I have no goddamn idea. He got injured during the all-out match. Or during the backstage fight that may have not been much of a fight. Who the hell knows? He got injured at the pay-per-view. So he would have been out anyway, even if the whole press scrum bullshit thing hadn't happened. But it did happen at whatever level. He's not there. Other people have been kicked out of companies for less. And this guy's still there. And I'm sorry, but he's not worth the goddamn risk. He better get Ubers. He better be driven by people. If he gets behind the wheel of something and he's intoxicated, he needs to go to fucking jail for a long goddamn time. He never needs to be in a wrestling ring. He shouldn't be in a wrestling ring now. Him and Matt should not be in goddamn wrestling rings. Neither can move. They can't do what they used to do. They can't even do what they used to do 5 years ago. And it's pathetic. Jeff Hardy should not be in a goddamn wrestling ring. And I'm quite frankly pissed off about it. But whatever. Hopefully he stays clean. He won't. Because he doesn't know how to. And yeah, that may be mean and I don't fucking care. But enough. Enough of giving him chances and coddling and everything and saying, I hope it works out. Because I hope it does work out. But they need help and Jeff Hardy is not going to help them. It's just going to be another broken down has-been that still gets pops and then, oh yeah, he can't do shit. Whatever. Anyway, Omega's upset because the Blackpool Combat Club took out the Bucks and took out Hangman and then took out Don Callis. And he's like family and Don Callis isn't a nice guy who has a lot of skeletons in his closet and a whole bunch of other bullshit. But that's another story. Oh, it's not going to be blood for blood. It'll be much, much worse. This promo was much, much worse because Omega can't be serious. Wild thing, you make Milwaukee saying the Blackpool Combat Club members Moxley and Claudio with Wheeler Yuta taking on Brandon Cutler and Michael Nakazawa. The referee Rick Knox. So you know nothing will be called because referee Rick Knox is terrible at his job. This is where I'm going to get angry about the show. Now, I will say that as long as Cutler and Nakazawa are never allowed to wrestle again on AEW programming, and I mean YouTube programming, I mean anywhere, any mainstream wrestling company, they should not be allowed. They want to be backstage, fine. They need people backstage. They need water boys. They need people that actually can go fetch sandwiches and do stuff away from the wrestling ring. Brandon Cutler is like Just Incredible. He's like Just Incredible if you take the talent out of Just Incredible. That's what he is. Michael Nakazawa is an embarrassment. And they beat the shit out of them. This went on way too long. Like, yeah, it was great that they beat the shit out of him, but I don't know why Claudio even sold anything. They should have literally just lariated them like, Dynamite did to Mick Foley during his second ever match. In fact, that's what they should have done. They should have done the same thing that Dynamite did to Foley, because I hate the fact that Nakazawa and Cutler are getting checked, and yet there are people killing themselves in the goddamn indies that are way better than these guys will ever be. There are some jokes and there's some dreck on this program, in this company, that should not be employed. At least as contracted wrestler talents, because they're contracting something. I feel like I'm contracting something every time I know that these two or talents like this even exist in a big wrestling company. That being said, they won, and then Mox is calling out the Elite. Because after Rick Knox realizes, oh shit, I'm the rep, I need to do something. You fucking goddamn mummified corpse. Why are you there? Oh, right, you're the Bucks friends. The Bucks are probably the worst goddamn thing that's happened to AEW programming over the last couple years. Because they're little pricks that don't actually care about benefiting the company. Also, they're fucking douchebags and the religious bullshit about it. But anyway, nevertheless, here's Omega. And then the Bucks show up from behind. And then we get all the beatdown and everything. And They check on Cutler. Are you still bleeding? Good. Bleed out for all I care. And then they get a toolbox and a screwdriver, and he's going to screw drive Moxley like Moxley did the Hangman, or like Brian did the Hangman. Where was Brian, by the way? Where was Brian? Where was Brian? Did he not want to make it to Milwaukee? Genuine question. Where was Brian? I didn't even think about it. Anyway, good. The Elite and Blackpool Combat Club stuff is probably going to lead to a War Games, or not War Games, Blood and Guts thing. Okay, so we get Swerve, Prince Nana, and Brian Cage saying they're not done, they're going to leave with something. Ruby and Tony didn't leave us with anything because they brought Saraya, Defender of Abusiverse. She might be the worst signing besides Jake Hager that Tony Khan's done, against Sky Blue and Riho. I really try to give people chances. Sky Blue may get better. Riho, it's a joke. Anybody that sells for Riho looks like 10 times worse. And I'm sure she's nice. But I don't need to see the best fluffer machine on a goddamn wrestling program. She is embarrassing to watch. Hip Attack Storm Zero on Sky Blue. They can't even beat Riho. The joke. They did triple powerbomb her. Whatever. Riho should have been hospitalized for that because she's literally the size of a goddamn matchstick. Jamie runs down, gets beat down. Unlike a couple weeks ago when she did something and she actually had the best 20 seconds of fire that I'd seen in a while. And then Britt shows up. We're going towards Britt and Britt screwing over Jamie and causing her to lose the title. That's probably what we're going to. It's probably going to happen at Double or Nothing and it's going to be terrible. Judah starts at 6:42 or so, and Keith Lee's theme starts a few minutes later. Keith Lee versus Chris Jericho. I'm just going to say right now that I hope Keith Lee gets as healthy as possible. He doesn't look healthy. I'm worried about him. Genuinely, I'm worried. Chris Jericho, I could care less if he drops over and turns blue in front of his family, quite frankly. But personal feelings aside, after I said that, this was terrible. Jericho can't move. Keith Lee really can't move. They kept having Daniel Garcia interfere a whole bunch. They had a spot where it looked like Keith Lee might get the victory. And Daniel Garcia was like, my eye, I'm not supposed to get bullshit booking in it. And then, while he's being ushered away, conveniently away, Swerve hits Keith Lee with some box of some kind. And there you go. There you go. Chris Jericho pins Keith Lee. So the Swerve Keith Lee thing is reigniting a few months after. I actually forgot that thing happened a few months ago. I genuinely forgot. I'm only ever reminded if Swerve or Keith Lee bring it up in promos, and then I quickly forget about it because I really don't. I like both those guys. I just don't care because the feud's cold now. And then Adam Cole shows up and checks on Keith Lee and then leads him back and keeps looking back at Jericho like Jericho did with Daniel Garcia because Jericho's going to leech off of anybody that is popular because Jericho doesn't have it anymore. There were good parts on Dynamite, but goddamn, the last while started to really annoy me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.